What's happening, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition. That's right, I'm back. What does that mean? Why did I say I'm back? Well, stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. So what the heck did I mean by I'm back? Well, as I show this book off, the actual spine and the back and the cover, talk a little bit about what happened behind the scenes. So, the Astonishing Melanie and I went to New York Comic Con, and this video was supposed to come out on Monday. However, I got a little under the weather when we got back on Sunday, and I said, oh, I can't film, I'll just get some sleep, maybe it's traveling. And yeah, by Tuesday I had lost my voice. Luckily, I had enough videos, because I try to stay about 3 days ahead of time. It's a little behind the scenes there. And I had enough material from the New York Comic Con walkthrough that I did. And yeah, today is the first day I got out of bed. I'm about 80%, so my voice is still a little messed up. But just to kind of give you an idea, I had a lot of videos planned. So yeah, apologies for that. This was supposed to come out on Monday. And I'll do the Marvel trades later today. But just, if you were wondering where the heck are the Marvel trades, where's the Long Halloween Haunted Night overview? Well, it's finally here. So here we have Batman. This is such a long title. The Long Halloween, the prequel, Haunted Night. And this is the deluxe edition. And much like the other hardcovers, they're all the same dimensions with no dust jackets on them. And they all have the logo of Batman, the Long Halloween, much like this, with the exception of the Long Halloween. I guess they changed their mind by the time they did the Dark Victory. This one's called the sequel. This one's called Catwoman When in Rome, and this is the prequel. Although, I don't think it's much of a prequel, though. It feels more like a sequel, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So it looks like they did change their minds on the way these were going to be designed. If you can tell here, like the Long Halloween has that logo, but it doesn't have the jack-o'-lantern up here. It has Batman's face. Maybe it's just such an iconic story that it deserves it. But this is the way they're going to sit on your shelf. I kind of wish they had done this particular design on this book too, because that looks just gorgeous. And then the backs of the books. This is what the designs look like. Each one of these retailing for $49.99. Believe it or not, this is not the slimmest one. That belongs to Catwoman When in Rome. That one's only 168 pages. This one here has 200 pages. So, let's crack this open, talk a little bit about the stories. Oh, one thing I didn't note, and it's the same thing that they did with like Dark Victory and even the Long Halloween, is that Batman himself has a glossy finish to it, whereas the background has a flat finish to it. The title has a glossy finish, the logo, and it's the same thing in the back. I love the fact that they're using this, because this is exactly what the cover that I'm used to is. And sadly, this will probably be the last original piece that Tim Sale did before he passed away. So I was excited to see this like get reprinted in a box set with some new artwork, but we lost him earlier this year. It's a damn shame. Alright, I'm going to crack this open and talk a little bit about the stories and showcasing the artwork. Cracking this open, we have some green end paper there. And then we have this image of Batman. So, this is split up into 3 different stories. You have Fears, Madness, and Ghosts, and then, of course, the gallery here. Archie Goodwin was the original series editor. He's the one that kind of put all this together. And he does have the original opening here that was written in 1996 for the trade paperback. So, this is before he passed away. Now, by the time Long Halloween came around, that's who Commissioner Gordon is based on, is the look of Archie Goodwin. So, like I mentioned, this book has 200 pages and retails for $49.99. So, what you have here is 3 different stories that were originally written in 1993, I believe, 1994, 1995, so before the Long Halloween. And this isn't the first time that Tim Sale and Jeph Loeb have worked together. They worked together in the Challengers of the Unknowns miniseries. But for some reason, Archie Goodwin had this idea of putting them together, making them a Batman story together, because Legends of the Dark Knight was a series of comics. It was a long running series that was supposed to take, and I say supposed to because later on they moved it to modern time, to take place in Batman's past before he had a Robin, before the Nightfall story arc. So Legends of the Dark Knight was always supposed to take place in the past. So that's what this collects. This collects the specials. There's the Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween special number 1, Batman Madness, the Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween special from 1994. So special number 1 was 1993. Madness was 1994, and then Ghost was 1995. And then that's what led Archie Goodwin to say, hey, you two crazy guys have a good Batman story to tell. Let's get you over to do a maxi series. And that's where Long Halloween came from. However, the timeline of these could be considered a follow-up to Long Halloween. Now, you don't need to have read Long Halloween. You really don't need to have read hardly any Batman to enjoy these particular stories. They're all separated. The first one's about the Scarecrow, who is trying to take down power plants and put Gotham into darkness. But I really like the inner monologue of Batman. He also meets this young lady right here, Gillian Maxwell, who plays an important part in this particular story. She's taken quite an interest in Bruce Wayne. And I love the way that Tim Sale draws the falling in love type of parts of the story, because they're all done in black and white. So yes, all of this happens before Long Halloween, but the story can really be read anytime. But the important thing to note is that it takes place before Long Halloween, so before Tim Sale kind of got that grasp of drawing Batman. But I dug this. I thought it stood out. He definitely drew a creepy Scarecrow. And I like his Batman, the big long ears. Very artsy to do this stuff in black and white. So yes, Gillian Maxwell takes an interest in Bruce Wayne. He's got to stop the Scarecrow, meanwhile fighting his inner fears. The second story arc is Madness, and this one has to do with the Mad Hatter kidnapping Barbara Gordon, a young Barbara Gordon, so before she became Batgirl, and making her his Alice. I love this right here. This is such an awesome just example of what a master of art can do. Just breaking it down, this particular scene, into 3-panel grids, and then of course altogether you have a 12-page grid, but each one kind of taking place at different times. I thought that was such a cool way of telling a story. He was such a freaking graphic novel artist. Like, oh, the damn shame. We lost him so young. But this one here, again, has a lot to do with Barbara's connection to her father, stepfather, uncle, Jim Gordon. Of course, a lot of things have been retconned, but the way the story's told, he's the one that adopted her or taken her in. But it also has this story where Batman has a flashback of his mom, so it's his connection to his mother. And there's a beautiful, beautiful, let me see if I can find it. So yeah, she's kidnapped, and she's taken in to become Alice, and there's a place right here where Batman is left for dead. I love this shot. This is so good, because it's like a take on the classic Pieta, right? Michelangelo's Pieta. It's the mother holding the son. But yes, a lot of flashbacks, so you kind of get a small taste of what Long Halloween will be about. And honestly, this is when I think Tim Sale becomes comfortable with his art with Batman. This noirish look to it. The third story is really interesting because his penguin, I swear, is so weird with those little tiny teeth. This is like a take on the Christmas Carol, but it's done in a Halloween style. So you have the Halloween ghost of past, and that is Poison Ivy. The ghost of the present is, of course, where is he? The Joker. I love the way he draws the Joker. And then you can find out who the ghost of the future is for Halloween Future. So the book itself, like the stories don't intertwine. They really don't have anything to do with each other. One character doesn't show up in the next story arc, nor does any of this have to do with Long Halloween. And even though it was written and drawn before Long Halloween, I feel like some of it could be read after Long Halloween. For example, in Madness, the character of Two-Face is mentioned, and we all know that particular thing didn't happen until if you read Long Halloween, you know what I'm talking about. And then you have Catwoman when in Rome. She is mentioned in this particular story right here. And then we also have the rankings of Commissioner Gordon because he's just a captain. For example, in the Dark Victory story or Catwoman when in Rome. So, like I mentioned, these can be read at any time. They're really fun stories. Don't expect the greatness if you're a huge fan of The Long Halloween to be found here. Because I think they were just setting up. They were kind of finding their own footing, if you will, to tell these particular stories. And I don't think they had any idea that Archie Goodwin was going to get them together to do a maxi series. Here are the original trade paperbacks, the Absolute Edition, the trade paperback that came out. This has had many printings. I love this picture right here. I believe this is the latest printing of the trade paperback. The grayscale cover. And then bios here. Oh, I forgot to talk about the freaking colors are done by Gregory Wright, and Todd Klein is the letterer on the book. Lots of spread pages, lots of splash pages. Tim Sell did not fear anything. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll draw you a splash page, a spread page. Here's what the eye looks like, and it is sewn binding. The paper quality is like the other Long Halloween Deluxe editions. However, it's not as thick as the Long Halloween or Dark Victory. The paper is just a little bit thinner than what they were using there. I'm honestly surprised they didn't go with matte paper for those. Tim Sell's, his use of blacks. I don't know. Maybe the Deluxe editions. It's interesting to see what they use matte paper for in Deluxe edition format and what they use glossy paper for. The price, like I said. So you can see some of the art bleed through from the opposite page because it's not as thick as the Long Halloween. But that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. If you live in Europe and are interested in buying and pre-ordering Omnis, then you should definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC books within the EU, flat rate shipping of €12 for all EU countries, bulletproof packaging, and all emails will be answered within 24 hours. They offer a huge selection of out-of-print books. Just head over to waltzcomicshop.com for more great deals and rare titles. And for a limited time, you can use the code NEARMINTCONDITION, all one word at the checkout, to get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order of over €40. Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for Omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this hardcover. Let me know in the comments down below if you have these stories in trade paperbacks, if you have them in absolute editions, if you have them in these deluxe editions, standard size trade paperbacks, or standard size hardcovers rather. Let me know all those comments down below. If you have any more questions, what you think about the stories, what your favorite Jeph Loeb and Tim Sell collaboration is. This is the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all so much for watching. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.